What's up guys, it's Peaks, and this is gonna be a little story, but the gameplay on the background is gonna be Standoff, Capture the Flag, and it's on...
Capture the flag.
I'm gonna be using actually the MSMC, going try hard on this. It's almost just so close to being a perfect gameplay, but spoiler alert, I end up dying. So it's okay. But anyways, the story basically what it's gonna be about my first date, well, my first real date and my first high school dance, and basically how it went and how it came up the days prior and up to it. And hopefully you guys can learn some what to do's and what not to do. So basically it started off on my birthday, and it was the day before Valentine's Day. And I was getting ready. I was actually at my birthday dinner. I was waiting for my food and I was on my phone on Facebook looking through the messages I had got. And then one of my friend's sister messaged me. And I was talking to her pretty much. She said happy birthday and we went on with this conversation. And I asked her if she had anything planned for Valentine's Day. And she said no, and I was like, oh, okay, neither do I, alright. So here my brain's processing what I'm gonna do about this whole thing. And then the next conversation, well, not next conversation, but during the conversation, the next question I asked her was if she had a dance to favorites, which was our Valentine's dance at our high school. And she said no, she didn't. So by this time, I'm pretty pumped. I was like, well, you know what? You're going to have one. And I messaged her that. She's like, how do you know? And I was like, you'll find out. You'll see. So the next day came around, and actually that night, I went and bought her flowers and chocolates. And yeah, and then I asked her sister, I told her sister what I was planning on doing. And her sister's like, alright, cool. And I asked her sister for suggestions on how to ask her sister on how to go to the dance. And she said that in that morning, well, Valentine's morning, the next morning, whenever they would be about to arrive at school, she would text me, and that I would go meet them at the parking lot, give her the flowers and chocolates, and do what I had to do, right? But that didn't work as planned. They didn't really get there at the time I was planning, so I had to go across the high school, so I had to leave earlier. I had to go across the street to the high school, because our high school is divided into two sides across the street. But either way, I went to my first period, and I was like, it's okay. Alright, you know, I could do it next period. I see her in the hallway, so I'll just give it to her then. It won't be as I wanted it to be, but you know what? I still get it to her. What happens to be, I don't know, she took an alternate route or something, and I didn't see her as I usually do. So by this time, I'm getting a little worried, you know. Second period comes around, and there's this guy with flowers and chocolate, and it pretty much makes me look like I was rejected, because by this time everybody in the school had given whoever they needed to give stuff to. But you know, I was like, I'm the man, I could do this, I believe in myself. Mind you, I'm still nervous, but I was like, alright, I'm gonna do it. I'll do it now, because I still see her next passing period, and I didn't see her again. So by this time I was worried that she wasn't at school. I'm out. And it's kind of one of those times where you start shooting bricks, guys. I'm gonna be honest. But I was like, oh well, so you know what, we have the same lunch. So I figured I'd give it to her during lunch. Lunchtime came around and I saw her sister, because her sister and I sat at the same lunch table and we were talking. She's like, oh yeah, she's here. I don't know why you haven't seen her. So I was like, you know what? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna meet her at her next class period, and I'm gonna be standing in front of her classroom waiting for her. They're like, oh yeah, we'll all go and see you. And this kind of pretty much rises the tension, because I don't know if she's gonna say yes or no. And then her sister's best friend, which is one of my good friends, and then my best friend, they're all here, my two best friends, and we're there in front of her classroom waiting for her. And so there's this crowd pretty much knowing that I'm gonna ask her to the dance, and I don't know if I'm gonna get rejected or not. So the intensity was at the highest point, and she came by. I gave her a hug, I gave her the flowers and chocolate, and she said yes. So I thought the most nerve-wracking point had gone by. So the week went on, and then the day prior to the dance came around, and she was telling me about how she bought a dress and new shoes and all this stuff. And I was actually just planning on wearing some nice jeans, some really nice Vans, because I'm a Vans type of guy, and just a button-down dress shirt. And I was like, no, that's not gonna cut it. And I realized at around 9 o'clock at night that I had to go shopping for clothes for the next day. So I get my clothes, get some new shoes, pants, get a nice dress shirt, you know how it is. I bought my clothes, and I go ahead the next day to the dance, getting ready for the dance. Actually, I wake up at 5 that morning because I had a band competition. And what do you know? After the band competition, my dad asked me, have you got her, he said a name, I can't remember what it's called, but you know, the rose that is as a bracelet for the dance that guys usually get for dance, and I say no. That had completely blown out of my mind. So now it's probably around 3 hours before the dance. I don't know how long this takes to make.
UAV inbound.
And I'm nervous again, you know. You start shooting bricks again. I'm like, alright, calm down. I gotta call this store. Gotta call the flower shop and see if they make these and how fast and how long it takes. So I call them like, oh yeah, we'll have it done by 6. I'm like, oh, that's great. You can have it done in an hour, okay. So I get ready, I get dressed, take a shower. When time comes around, I pick it up, and I'm on my way to the dance. I text her, and I told her whenever she gets there to message me. And then there was a dead zone. I couldn't get her messages through and not. So I don't know where she was, and I was nervous once again, waiting for her with the flower in my hand, waiting in front. And then she tells me, actually I call her, and the call went through, and she says she was inside. And basically I had a great night. It was a lot of fun. I can't complain. It pretty much was an amazing night, although all the events that came up to it that made me so nervous. But it was one of the best nights I could say that I've had. So the tip I could give to you guys is, if you're nervous or anything for a date, first date, dance, whatever it is, guys, don't be nervous. Believe in yourself. Be prepared. That's the best tip I could give you, and I hope you guys like this. If you want more stories, go ahead, inbox me, comment, and give me some ideas of what stories you want to hear and whatnot, guys. I hope you enjoyed the game clip, the commentary. Sub, like, favorite, and subscribe.